once again, and this one wasn't even close. 10-zip. That's absolutely on fire. That was the one bet out yesterday. Small card. Another small card today. We'll get into this ALDS game 3 here with the Astros and Texas. First, let's just talk about the NLCS a little bit. Crazy game yesterday. Phillies, everyone getting it done. Schwarber now getting hot, heating up. He heated up this time around last year. And their aces, Wheeler and Nola, both just dominant performances that they've continued since the wild card. They're riding their backs heavily. And what's that stat now? 19 home runs as a team. They've allowed 13 runs in total throughout the playoffs, getting it done in both facets. Tough to tell there. But you guys know the story here. We bet the numbers, and that's what we do. All about betting the price on the game. John, obviously not an ideal couple of days to start the week, but as far as, month of October and everything else, still been absolutely on fire, still up big on the month, still up big on the season. And we got a couple of actions going up the next couple of days to get it back.
Over the long haul, guys, we'll say it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. A couple of days. Having a ridiculous NFL season, still at 75% through 6 weeks. Major League Baseball regular seasons ends with a W. We'll end the playoffs with a W. You're going to lose your games here or there. Let's just talk about the baseball game again. All the baseball games. People say, well, if you think the Phillies would win, why would you bet the Diamondbacks? So let me explain one more time real quick. Now, we want our guys to be the most informed guys. So at $1.50, which is the price we took yesterday with the D-backs, we take $1.50. For the price to be $1.50, that means the favorite, the Phillies, would have to win 60% of the games. Let's just say they played 100 times. Philly'd have to win 60, D-backs 40. That equates to $1.50. If the Phillies would win 41 out of the 100 times, that's a profit. We felt the Diamondbacks would win 43 to 44% of the time. What does that mean? That still means the Phillies are going to win 56 to 57% of the time. So if you ask me, who do you think is going to win? Yeah, I think the favorite's going to win. That's why they're the favorite. But do I think they'll win enough to cover the spread? And this is what it's about. If you think any other way, you're a square. You're a sucker. And if your capper is talking anything like that, then you should not be paying him. Again, it's a numbers game. It's all about the price. So if we make the game $1.35, we're going to take $1.50. That's 15 cents better than number. And that's what the situation was yesterday. It did not pan out. I'm not trying to say anything about it. This is our method, not just for playoffs, not just the regular season, but for over 40 years, and it's successful. One more time, up just about 28% or 28 units, or call it 28% for the baseball regular season. This was a bad season, admittedly. So we do better on the average, much better than the 28%. So even on a bad down year, we still wind up plus 28%. You want to just go bet the hot teams, and there's plenty of systems out there. Team wins 3 or more, bet them till they lose. There's a whole bunch of systems. You can win a piece. Not saying you can't, but you will lose in the long run. Same as the buying numbers. I don't just talk off the cuff. If you're just going to bet every money line big favorite or add points to the dogs by paying extra juice, you can catch a game here or there. I'm not saying you can't. You're not going to catch every game and lay off the games that don't fall on the number. And if you know the game's going to fall on the number, then just bet the other side at what the line is. So this is 40 years of experience talking, not into this game yesterday. So it's all about the numbers. You want to take your knowledge of sports. Knowledge moves the line. Injuries updates, which is another thing I want to talk about. So we talked about one of the bets that I have not made yet. And that bet, we talked about Army and LSU. I've sent out 3 college bets. This is not one of them, but we talked about it. So please don't run ahead and bet Army. I'd bet Army right now plus 31. If I knew their quarterback was playing, he's questionable. Daly, their quarterback, obviously, leads in all the quarterback stats, but is also their leading runner. He has twice as much rushing yards as the next running back. So don't go. Here's something that I say here, and think that you're going to go. If I say it's a bet, if I send it out to my guys, it's a bet. We find out Daly's in the game today. 31 is out there. We will take Army plus 31. Again, he's questionable, so it's information, knowledge is power, and that's information. Is the player in? Is he out? How's LSU going to look at this game? We talked about it. They got to look ahead to Bama. Do they want to be pouring it on Army in the second half when they've got Bama next week? These are the things that we're looking at. And again, wait for it to be an actual play. We got so many injuries coming up in the NFL today, this weekend. I mean, huge quarterbacks. Is Lawrence playing Thursday night? Deshaun Watson still a question mark. Garoppolo a question mark. Fields doubtful for the Bears. So got to get the information. That's what we do. We're on top of the information, the line moves, and we bring that all to you.
Yeah, waiting to see on a lot of those injuries NFL wise. A couple of bets already out though for members. 3 there, 3 in the college football, and the rest of them is going to be based on injuries. And you guys hear us talk about this a lot with football, and obviously it's one a week. But when it gets to NBA season, it is so massive when it comes to the injuries, the late breaking ones especially. And going to be interesting with the new rules the league's implemented, how that's going to affect our read on it. Before, you used to be able to kind of have a better guesstimate of when guys were going to sit at the back end of a road trip, certain teams like Golden State, et cetera. But that's going to be huge. So make sure you guys keep on tuning in. We'll keep you posted on those injuries. And, of course, our members, you guys will get updated when we get that injury info as soon as we get it. But, John, we got one baseball game going on today, and injury conversation continues on here. Max Scherzer, he was going on the mound, returning for the first start in over a month. Had some tricep spasms. Last start was the 12th of September. In the start prior to that one, he got roughed up by the Astros. He was tagged for that one, 7 runs in 3 innings. He threw a bullpen session back on the 12th, or the 11th, excuse me. Bochy said he looked good, and we'll see how he looks. But we talked about this throughout the MLB regular season. For any of you guys tuning in, day out, you guys know we look to go against these pitchers coming back for a first start. Texas, red hot, hasn't lost in the playoffs, going up against Javier, bit of a rough regular season here for the Stros, but really, really good in the playoffs last year, really good in the playoffs so far this year. Last 3 playoff starts hasn't allowed a run, 3-0, 0.00 ERA, and did that against the Twins, 5 shutout innings. Only allowed 1 hit, did have 5 walks, and he was roughed up by the Rangers back in July. We'll see what he gets. He was sold against them last year, 2.96 ERA. Pitching edge, though, has to go to Javier. And, John, go ahead and let them know about those road stats with this Astros team right now.
Yeah, well, let's first start with the pitching, as you said. Yeah, I got to go with Javier. If Scherzer was 100%, yeah, he's the pitcher. He hasn't pitched since September 12th. That's over a month. We're talking 5 weeks. Going to first come back, make a start, going to make a start against a team. Here's the stats, 16-3, scoring 7.7 runs per game, batting 319 over their last 19 road games. They're just a different team on the road. They've been a different team on the road all year, scoring more than a run per game on the road, more than at home. They finished under 500 at home. Again, this is a different Houston Astro team on the road. Put that together with what I expect out of Scherzer. Can you expect Scherzer to deliver 6? I don't. He could go out there and throw a pitch and be right back in the dugout. Houston down 2-0. Let's not forget, this is the defending world champions. Got to give them all the experience, all that edge in the world, going up against the pitcher, the way they play on the road, just makes them, again, worth taking the price. And that's all we want, guys. We want a team that's worth taking the price. So Astros are nobody in this one.
Yeah, if you guys remember last year too, Scherzer's it's almost a little bit of a similar situation. Was dealing with an injury on the backstretch of the season. Goes and pitches in the wild card against San Diego. Gets tagged for 7 runs and 4 2/3. And in 2021, a bit better of a postseason, but still a little bit of postseason struggles lately for Scherzer. And last year, very similar, kind of dealing with an injury at this time of year also. We'll see how it pans out today, but getting dog money with a red-hot road team. Obviously, Texas keeps on winning, so I understand the argument there with what they've been doing. We'll see how that pulls off here. And their team also better on the home than they've been on road, but a lot of these postseason games been on the road for them. What is it? 6 of the 7 been on the road. So we'll see what carries over into this game. It's just the one game there. We do have, like we mentioned, bets already out for NFL and college football coming up this weekend. And we'll touch in a bit more on that with Thursday Night Football coming up tomorrow. We do have, like John said before, a lot of injuries going on this weekend. Our members will be updated on those throughout. A lot of quarterback injuries, which in NFL, obviously, those move the lines the most. So we'll see how many more bets get added with or without that. John, I don't know if you have anything else. No, it's short cars, shorter week on these episodes, and we got a big week of the NBA coming up next week.
That's it, guys. You'll see more in depth once we start with the NBA next week. We'll be doing our show pretty much same time. Ben will have these up by 1 o'clock. But again, just keep in mind how much things could change in those 6 hours between. It's actually more like 7 hours. We start shooting these about 11 o'clock or so. So between 11 o'clock, 11:15, when we start shooting the podcast until we start getting lineups for the 7 o'clock games and later, so much could change. And as Ben said, if you think the injuries here change stuff, I mean, once you start hitting the big names, the Currys, the Giannis, so much could change in one game. So that's why we're on top of the injuries. Right. Well, look, we don't take off until halftime of the final game of the night is done. That's when we finally take a break and pull away from the computers. But until then, we're on top of every injury, every line move. You got to be a member. Like I said, we want your support and love you guys coming, watching the podcast. Also, guys, try to get us moving. Leave us a comment. Hit the like, the share button, whatever you got to do. But yeah, unless you remember, you're not going to get that up to the date information that's absolutely necessary in the NBA.
Absolutely necessary. You guys will get those episodes starting next week. We'll have an NBA season preview earlier on Tuesday, and we appreciate you guys who are tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe below. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money.